Welcome back to Dark Desires Academy. I'm Miss Anna, and today we are discussing one of the most important foundations of healthy submission, which is communication. Many people believe that being submissive means remaining quiet, agreeing with everything, or waiting for the dominant person to make every decision. That is not effective submission. Good submission requires honesty, self-awareness, and the confidence to communicate clearly. A dominant person cannot read your mind, not all the time. They cannot automatically know what you're feeling, what you understand, or whether something has changed. If you cannot communicate correctly, trust becomes very difficult to build. And without trust, there can be no successful structure. So let's look at the communication skills every submissive needs to develop. Number 1, listen carefully. Communication does not begin with speaking. It begins with listening. There is a difference between hearing an instruction and generally understanding it. A good submissive listens without interrupting or preparing an excuse before the other person has finished speaking. When you receive an instruction, give it your full attention. Do not rush to respond simply because you want to appear eager. Take a moment to understand exactly what has been asked of you. If necessary, repeat the instruction back in your own words. You could say, I understand that you want me to complete this by 6 p.m. and report back when it's finished. That short confirmation prevents misunderstandings and demonstrates that you were paying full attention. Listening correctly is a form of respect. Number 2, ask for clarification. Some submissives are scared to ask a question because they believe it makes them appear incapable. Well, it does not. Pretending to understand an instruction when you are actually confused is far worse. A sensible question shows that you care about completing the task correctly. However, before asking a question, you need to stop and think. Have you already been given the answer? Were the instructions clear? But you simply want more attention. Could you work it out safely, using your own judgment? If the instruction was really unclear, ask a direct question. Do not say, "I don't understand any of it." Instead say, "I understand the first two steps, but please could you clarify what you expect from the final step?" Good communication is clear and focused. Number 3, be honest. Honesty is essential. It's important. You must be able to say when you have made a mistake or forgotten an instruction or failed to complete something. Hiding a mistake does not protect the relationship. It damages the trust. A mature submissive takes responsibility. So that means reporting what has happened without inventing any excuses or attempting to shift the blame. For example, "I did not complete the task by the agreed time. I should have managed my time better, and I accept responsibility." That is a much stronger response than a long excuse designed to escape accountability. Honesty also means being truthful about your experience, your emotions, and your expectations. Do not claim to be more experienced than you are. Do not agree to something merely because you want to impress someone. And never hide an important concern because you feel that you might disappoint them. Truth builds trust. Number 4, express your boundaries clearly. Communication about boundaries. It's not disobedience. It is a responsibility. A submissive should understand the difference between a limit, a preference, and something they feel nervous about trying. A limit is something you do not consent to. A preference is something you may enjoy more or less. Being nervous may simply mean that you need further discussions. or that extra reassurance. These are not the same thing, and they should not be communicated as though they are. Avoid vague statements such as, "I'm probably fine with most things." That tells the other person very little. You need to explain what you are comfortable with, what you are unsure about, and what you do not agree to. Your boundaries may also change with experience. If something no longer feels right, communicate it. Consent is an ongoing conversation, not a single agreement made at the beginning. Number 5. Learn how to report correctly. If you are following a structured training, you may be expected to provide updates or reports. A useful report should be clear, honest, and relevant. It should explain what you were instructed to do, whether you completed it, what you found difficult, what you learned, and whether there is anything important your dominant needs to know. Do not send a fake message such as "done." That may confirm completion, but it gives no insight into your effort, your understanding, or your progress. A stronger report might be, "Task completed at 7 p.m. I found it difficult to remain focused, but I did correct myself and finished without further delay. I learned that I need to remove distractions before I begin." That shows awareness and accountability. Do not make your dominant drag information out of you, one question at a time. If you have been asked to report, provide a proper report. Number 6. Communicate problems early. Do not wait until the last possible moment to mention a problem. If you know you cannot meet that agreed deadline, communicate this as soon as you can. If your circumstances change, explain what has happened. If an instruction causes real concern, raise it before proceeding it. Silence does not make it go away. It usually makes it larger. Communicating early gives both people an opportunity to adjust the plan or discuss a solution. This does not mean abandon that instruction at the first inconvenience. It means recognizing it when important information needs to be shared. Reliable communication builds confidence. Repeating last-minute excuses weakens it. Number 7. Control emotional reactions. Clear communication can become difficult when every correction is treated as a personal attack. A dominant may question you, challenge your behaviour, or point out that your standard was not good enough. Your first reaction may be that you feel a little embarrassment, or maybe even a little disappointment. But you do not have to speak from that immediate reaction. Listen to what is actually being said. Ask yourself whether the correction is fair and whether there is something useful you can learn from it. You can acknowledge a correction without being dramatic. For example, I understand why you corrected me. I will make the necessary improvements. If you disagree or feel misunderstood, you can communicate that respectfully. I understand your concern. May I explain what happened so that you have the full information? Emotional maturity does not mean having no feelings. It means communicating those feelings without allowing them to control the entire conversation. Number 8. Understand tone and timing. What you say matters, but how and when you say it also matters. Serious concerns should not be hidden inside jokes. Important discussions should not be started when either person is rushed. Important discussions should not be started when either person is rushed, distracted, or already frustrated. Choose an appropriate moment and communicate directly. Avoid passive aggression comments, deliberate silence, or expecting someone to guess why you are upset. If something needs to be discussed, say so. You could say, there is something important I would like to discuss when you have time. Please let me know when it would be appropriate. That is respectful, calm, and clear. Good communication is not only about expressing yourself, it is also about considering how your message will be received. Number 9. Accept that no is complete communication. A healthy dynamic requires both people to respect the word no. A submissive is allowed to refuse something outside their agreed boundaries. A dominant is also allowed to refuse a request, decline a dynamic, or decide that they are not the right person to provide what someone wants. Do not treat every refusal as an invitation to negotiate. Do not keep asking the same question in different ways because you dislike the first answer. Accepting no demonstrates respect, emotional control, and maturity. Sometimes the answer may be not yet. That still does not mean you should continue pushing for it. Patience is part of the communication too. Number 10. Match your words with your actions. Communication is not only verbal. Your behavior communicates constantly. If you say that you are committed, but keep disappearing, your actions send a different message. If you say that you respect instructions, but then ignore the details, your behavior reveals the truth. If you apologize, but continue repeating the same mistake, the apology begins to lose its meaning. Words create expectations. Actions prove whether those words can be trusted. A reliable submissive does not constantly announce their loyalty, discipline, or their dedication. They demonstrate those qualities through being consistent, speaking clearly. Healthy communication is a shared responsibility. Although today's lesson focuses on the communication skills a submissive needs, communication must never be one-sided. A responsible dominant should also listen, explain expectations, respect boundaries, and create an environment where honesty, communication is always possible. Submission does not mean surrendering your voice. It means learning how to use your voice with honesty, purpose, and respect. You should never feel forced to hide pain, fear, confusion, or any serious concern, simply to prove your obedience. A healthy structure makes room for communication. It does not punish someone for speaking honestly about their safety or their boundaries. Now let's reflect. Before you finish this lesson, I want you to consider 5 questions. 1. Do I listen carefully, or am I simply waiting for my turn to speak? 2. Can I admit a mistake without immediately making excuses? 3. Do I communicate my boundaries clearly? 4. Do I report any problems early or wait until they become unavoidable? 5. Do my actions support the promises I make? Now, I want you to answer these questions honestly, not with the answers you think sounds impressive. I want the truth, because communicating is not about performing the role of a good submissive. It's about becoming someone who can be understood, trusted, and guided. Let's have a final thought. Strong communication does not weaken submission. It makes it stronger. The more clearly you communicate, the easier it becomes to build trust and receive guidance and develop within a structured dynamic. So listen carefully, ask sensible questions, speak the truth, respect boundaries, and report correctly, and make certain that your actions support your words. You do not need to speak constantly. You need to communicate with purpose. Now, this is Miss Anna, and you've been listening to Dark Desires Academy. Now, if this lesson has helped you, please subscribe to my channel. I welcome all, and I appreciate your support. And there's lots more to come. Your next lesson will be Daily Habits of a Great Submissive. Until then, reflect carefully on today's questions and pay close attention to what your communication reveals about you.